Good afternoon, my friend YouTubers. I just wanted to make a quick video to show you something that has become a pretty common issue. This is a 2005 Nissan Murano. Sorry for the lighting. And I had a misfire in this vehicle for a minute or two. Struggled to find what was the right cause of the misfire. And it turned out that these engines had a lot of issues with compression. Especially valve training. So what I want to show you guys is basically a quick way to do a leak down test, which is kind of the only way to know for sure the engine is basically working correctly, because I did a compression test on it and it was showing 150 across the board perhaps. Now on the leak test it's a whole different story. Basically, the right way to do a leak test is you find the cylinder you want to test. Basically, you want to do the test on all cylinders anyways. But you want to put the cylinder on top of the center. And you got to understand that's kind of a little bit hard when you're working alone by yourself on the car. And the quicker way to do it is basically, it's probably not the best way, but it gives you the idea and it gives you the results, which is what you're looking for. What you're gonna do, you're gonna hook up the hose to the cylinder you're looking for. This is a quick Harbor Freight cylinder leak down tester. Nothing too crazy. It was like $100 or somewhere around that time. So you basically hook up the hose to the cylinder you want to do the testing on. Let me see if I can get a better angle for you guys. Okay. So here it is, my hose hook up. I already hooked up the hose on the cylinder. We got the gauges here. I'm gonna put the camera to the gauges. And once you get everything set up, what we do, we hook up the air hose to the gauge. Let's remove it from the cylinder. We hook up the hose to the gauge and we want to make sure this gauge is at 100. The second gauge is what you want it to be at 100 psi. That means you are going to have the same pressure when you're doing the testing over all the cylinders, and you don't want that to go 20% minor. I have found good engines with 50% leak down on all cylinders. That is okay. It's just normal wear, and your engine is going to work even if you have the same percentage of all cylinders. That's okay. The problem is when you got different percentage, and usually if you got more than 20% in between one cylinder and another, then you're bad. You see right now what I did, I just hook up the cylinder and I'm just going to span the engine a little bit at a time, slow. You're going to see how my pressures are going to go up and then they're going to go down again. Let me locate this in a suitable place so you guys can see. As we speak, I'm turning the engine. And I'm turning the engine, you guys can hear how the airflow is changing. You see right now it's in a compression stroke, and you see how the needle is trying to go, but it's basically not doing much. Basically 20% is what it's getting, so I got 80% leakage on that cylinder, which is pretty bad. You see? There is basically nothing. The engine is going all the way around. I'm turning the engine as we speak, and nothing. I basically got on the compression stroke probably 20%. Right there. That's my compression stroke. I'm going up, 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 up. I'm putting all the strength I got to go over it. And that's it. That's all the compression I got on that cylinder. Now I want to show you what a good cylinder is going to look like. Basically, we're going to disconnect it from... We're going to disconnect the gauge. And we're going to swap the hose to what I got as a good cylinder. And you will see what's going to be the difference on it. This is basically cylinder number, the one in the back. I don't remember exactly. I think this is cylinder number 2, which is the best of all the ones I got so far. All the other ones are just like the one I show you. And like I say, if they're all even, you might be okay. The engine might not have all the power that it's supposed to, but sorry. The engine will not have all the power that it's supposed to, but it's going to be even, and that is basically what's going to keep the engine running smooth. So now we're going to hook up the gauge again, and I'm gonna turn the engine once more. Let me set the gauges so you guys can see again. It's a little bit hard to find a place to put it. Okay. And these are my gauges now. Now I'm going on the compression stroke. You guys can hear how the air. Okay, we go. And we are about there, 20%. We're not getting, we're compression now. Look at this. I'm putting all my pressure just to hold it, and I can't crank it over. I can't go over that. Look at that's 90. That is a really good cylinder. I just released the pressure. I'm trying to turn the engine, and I just can't turn it over that point, because that cylinder is basically a perfect cylinder. It's 90%. You see, that is a really good cylinder. I'm gonna release the pressure, and basically that's what I want you guys to see. I mean, it's an easier way to do it. It's probably not the best procedure, but it's something quicker to go. Like if you're doing it by yourself, it's pretty hard to find top dead center on each cylinder, set the engine, hook up the hoses, and then the engine is gonna try to spin on one direction or the other, and sometimes it's a little bit harder that way. So for you guys, that's an easy way. Just, you see, I got my wrench on the crankshaft, and I'm turning the engine as I show you guys. I was basically just turning the engine while just turning the engine, you see. At the meantime, trying to turn the engine with the hoses hooked up to one cylinder. Like I said, it's definitely not the procedure, the best way to do it, but it's definitely the quicker. And you just go swap the hose from one cylinder to another cylinder, and you're gonna see all across the board, all cylinders supposed to have the same reading or close to, within 20% range. So it could be 5 up, 5 down, 10 up, 10 down, and you're still okay. As long as you are within the 20% range, you're good. If it's more than that, you're gonna have a weak cylinder, and that's gonna create a misfire. The computer is gonna cache it. You're gonna have other issues on it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this helped you guys to check out your engines. Like I said, this is a 2005 Nissan Murano. It gave me a lot of headaches. I have worked on it a lot. The main problem with these are the valves are calibrated by factory, and the lifters are solid. They're not hydraulic, they're solid lifters, but they are like precisely calibrated at the factory. Each lifter is a different calibration or different height. So if you actually take this apart, don't take the lifters out of place. If you are doing a head job or something, make sure you put the lifters in the same place they came out of, because they come calibrated from factory. If you're doing a head job and you are doing the head by yourself, that was my mistake. I already took this engine out once. I did my head, I put everything new, clean, perfect. I did my valve lapping at home, perfect job, but I didn't took that in account. And when I put everything back together, I put the lifters on different locations than they were coming from factory. And even if you put in the same location, if you are not careful and you do not lap like the valve itself, the tip of the valve is probably going to need to be chopped down. So basically at that point, I got me a new set of heads, or a used set of heads from a junkyard. It was like $100. Dropped in a machine shop. It was like another $400 to get the heads done. I got a new set of heads, and that's what I'm going to do to put my engine back together. But for the ones that have some skill and knowledge, don't let this engine to get all crazy on you, because it will drive you crazy. It's just a really picky design. You have to be careful with all you do on it. Just pretty tight gaps on the valves, and that was the main problem. That's the problem I have with this engine. Like I said, I put everything together, put the engine on the car, I had a misfire, and I was like, I can't be wrong, I can't, and yes, I was wrong. I put the lifters on the wrong location, and that created a whole big problem. Besides, I lapped the valves, which probably make the valve stem to go a little bit higher and keep the valves open at some point. So my head is probably okay, but the valves are a little bit higher than they supposed to. So the lifter wouldn't need to be changed or adjusted. Like I said, those are fixed lifters, they're not hydraulic. So if you ever have to do a job on this kind of engine, do not take the lifters out. And if you're going to do something on the head, send the head to be machined and then to calibrate the lifters with the cams on it. Otherwise, you are gonna have a misfire most likely. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this has helped you out, and have a great afternoon. Bye bye.